I don't know if it's starting yet, but greetings, dear beloveds. This is White Wolf. I'm going to start off by enacting protocols, call upon the lion, fire dragon, earth, water dragon, earth, fire dragon, flying speak dragon, golden nose dragon, Ezekiel, my two black dragons, a black dragon, Saturn, alpha dragon, Archangel Michael, Gabriel, Sandalphon, Raphael, Mother Mary, Saint Germain, the Intergalactic Council, the Galactic Federation of Light, and grandfather and grandmother, and the tribal women are also in attendance. And so it is. We're going to be talking about what the infinite reality is. We're going to be talking about false narratives that we place on ourselves, and we're going to be talking about changing our inner reality to fit conventional reality. This is White Wolf. Please share out to all the groups. And without further ado, I'm going to share out. We're just going to have a little chit chat. We're just going to chit chat. We're going to kind of spitball here, spitball ideas, kind of understand what it means to change our inner reality, to change who we are, to empty ourselves out, to understand the one infinite source of creation, which is the Oracle of Love, Light, and Wisdom, so that we can co-create more oracles of love, light, and wisdom all over the world, the nation, whatever you want to call it. That's what we're going to do today. So I'm going to share out to all the groups. So please give me a moment to share out. And feel free to share out with me, donate, make an appointment with me or MorningStar. But I think a lot of times we are our own worst enemy. Let the wind die down. I'm going to share out, let the wind die down. This is White Wolf. I love you guys. I love the support. I love that you guys are here. Remember to stay humble. Remember to stay true to yourself. Remember to stay honest and tap into your true brilliance. And sometimes we eat our own words when we go live because we say that we walk the walk and then we have to talk the talk as we're walking the walk. And walking that walk, walking that journey, going within yourself, emptying yourself out, growing and expanding and manifesting and dreaming big and really being gung ho about stuff. And either you go big or you go home. That's really what it boils down to. It's either we want to go big or we want to go home. It's either we want the riches of life, the fruits of life, or we go home. And if we don't tap into our true brilliance, if we don't clear ourselves out, if we don't have the metaphysical crucible, like we are a living prophecy in the Bible. And I've been learning a lot from the drudges of society, the people that are not awakened, that are like kind of suffering, but they're in their bliss. There's something beautiful about conventional reality. And when you awaken, you are the infinite reality because we've lived so many lifetimes. And I'm just going to let the wind die down. I don't know if you guys can hear me. This is White Wolf. And I just want you guys to understand that we are the infinite reality because we keep going, we keep going. We're going to work off planet. We're going to have another lifetime. We've been here past lifetimes. But in this lifetime, we are awakening. We are helping people become enlightened. Because in other lifetimes, we didn't get this right. We didn't get it right. But there is something to learn from the 3D. There is something to gain from conventional reality. And we're changing our inner reality. We're changing our inner world. We're improving the mess that we are as humanity. We're improving the way we see things on a day-to-day, moment-to-moment basis. We're improving how we handle situations, how we talk even, how we think even, having even lust even. It's all of it. And I'm really saying this about my own experience because you can't go higher. You can't do what they want you to do if you don't clear yourself out, if you don't improve the infinite reality. Because we've been here for tens, thousands of years, millions of years, billions of years. So how are we not the infinite reality? And if we become fully enlightened, if we do this the right way, if we reach densities of consciousness, if we realize the reason why we were here in the first place, we then will obtain the absolute reality. We will obtain enlightenment. We will obtain the dreamland. We will obtain the dream while living the dream here, living the journey here. And then when we die, we'll know what is the light that is at the end of the tunnel. We will understand why we were here, what we needed to do, what we were led to do, why we wanted to be of service to others, why we wanted to love people, why we wanted to give love endlessly and receive love. But we don't absorb energy. We are here to observe and learn. Remember that, dear beloveds, and I'm saying this because of my own experience. If you don't become humble, if you don't have humility, if you don't have devotion, you will not have any of these things. But don't give your power away to those simple concepts, because you can say that you're overly you have a exceeding abundance of humility. You can say that you're devotional, but you can't give your power away, because then that's ego. And how we purify the ego is that we just say to ourselves that we know that we don't know all that we need to know when we need to know it at that exact moment that we're supposed to know it. Because we don't know everything that we need to know. That's what allows us to grow. That's what allows us to stay humble. That allows us not to be overly egotistical. That allows us to not play into the false narratives of our imposter self. Because when we become enlightened, when we become awakened, we kind of tap in and out of consciousness and unconsciousness, and sometimes things get into our subconscious. But as we are going through our spiritual journey, we're becoming more conscious, but sometimes we're fluctuating from the densities. That means the imposter self has not left the building yet. And that does not mean that you've emptied yourself out yet. And even when you say that you're out of alignment, or you say that you are not ready for something, that actually means that you're more ready because you're humble. You can be hungry, you can be excited, but you can't be egotistical if you're on the spiritual journey. If you want what you want, you can't take credit for what grace is on your life, because that's the only way to understand enlightenment is grace. Because if there's grace on your life, then you will be graceful. You will be thankful. You will not be complacent. You will not be the egotistical human being that you are maybe right now. And I'm not saying this as casting aspersions, but we go through this. We go through a crucible. We go through these times of change, of manifestation, of journey, of stepping out into faith, of rolling the dice and just wanting to see where it truly lands. And sometimes that's really hard, because you're unsure, you're unwell, but you need to know that you're safe and secure. And once we know that we're safe and secure, once we know that our best days are in the sun at this exact moment, when we know our best days are ahead of us and that our days of trauma are over, when you have that spoken over your life, and I'm here to tell some of you that this month coming up will be not a month of clearing. It will be a month of growing and expanding and changing and migrating and manifesting and wealth, all sorts of things that we've worked so hard for. Now, some of you have to go through certain lessons, like I have, like MorningStar has, like Thomas Sawyer has. But we all go through this. We all put our hearts out on a platter. And sometimes we have a sliver of doubt. But if you can zap yourself back into alignment, if you can get to that subtlety, if you can get that conviction over your soul and over your spirit and align with your higher self back again, then you can snap yourself back and realize that you just had a bad day. And when you have those bad days, in your messiest moments, you will find true wisdom. You will find intuitive clarity. You will find true grace. And it will just happen effortlessly. It will just go. It will just change. It will just happen. But we have to understand that it all comes with the divine timing. We don't need to always think that it needs to happen right at this moment, because this is infinite reality. We are the infinite reality. We have been here thousands upon thousands, millions upon millions, billions upon billions of years. So this is the infinite reality, and we're just improving our inner reality to fit the conventional reality, because we don't change the reality that is here, that is ever present. We don't change the 3D. We change our inner world so that maybe one day we can help others, spark a change in them. It's not about wanting to change people, but it's about wanting them to live their best and fullest, empowered, fun-filled lives. That's what it is. It's not about leading a cult and wanting to change people and wanting them to follow these certain parameters. It's not about that. It's not wanting people to follow these certain parameters and stay in this little box or this little painting of enlightenment, of what they think enlightenment looks like. It's not about that. It's about wanting people to see what resonates for them. It's wanting to see what works for people. Maybe you do healing with sound. Maybe you sing Kumbaya and playing a guitar and it brings healing to people. It doesn't have to look what I am doing. Like my gifting is speaking. Some people's gifting is just speaking a prophetic word over people's lives, like MorningStar. Some people channel. It doesn't matter if that makes you feel whole, because sometimes doing the right thing in life will make a lot of people mad. It will make a lot of other people mad that you don't even know. But doing the right thing sometimes in life is very hard, and you don't know what fully to do in that moment. You don't know the clarity, you don't know where your journey is going to take you. But that's the beauty of it all. It's the unknown, and it's an adventure. It should be almost like a childlike wonder to you all. It should be like a childlike wonder. It shouldn't be like, oh, I got to do this adventure. Oh, I got to go through these hoops. Oh, I got to go through these challenges. I got to go through another emptying out of my soul. It's not about that. It's about you growing into the best version of yourself. We all need change. We all need to, because when we're the chosen ones, we have to be emptied out. We have to change. We have to become the master within. Because when we don't become the master within, how are we going to sit there and be justified to tell someone how to live their life? How are we going to sit there and be like, oh, you need to be enlightened, man, but I got my own issues myself? Well, the wind's picking up. Sorry. Well, there's this thing about people. They think that enlightenment has to look a certain way, it has to fit into a certain box, it has to fit a certain mold, it has to fit into their own infinite reality, and it only looks like enlightenment to them. Well, I'm here to tell you that that's wrong. It may look like I'm just a guy talking and smoking a cigar. It doesn't have to look what everybody else is doing. It doesn't matter. It's how you do it. It's how you express source. It's how you express the infinite reality in human form, God in human form, higher self in human form. That's how you're expressing your most authentic journey. And it's going to trigger people, and it's going to make people upset, and it's going to make people question you, and you're going to be pulled in a lot of different directions, and you're going to be like, where am I supposed to go? What am I supposed to do? Who am I supposed to ask? Who's going to give me guidance? Who is going to change the scope of my life? Who's going to help me on this journey? And it's not always crystal clear. It's not always right in front of our face, but it's the little pieces. It's the little breadcrumb trails. It's the little pieces of paper. It's like an arrow being shot out of the sky, and then it lands with a note into the ground, and you pick it up, and you're like, wow, look at this. This word that was for me. This Native American shot this thing for me, and it was a message. It was a message from the gods. Sorry, the wind's blowing. So what I want you guys to understand, we're not trying to change people. We're not trying to change the reality that is here. But we are trying to change our inner reality so that we can help change the reality of others. And that's powerful. And that's change. And that's wisdom. And that's grace. And that's us really becoming fully of who we are in our heart. And it all comes from our heart. It doesn't come from anywhere else. And we're not going to get it from anyone else. But there might be people placed on your path that are very essential, kind of like me and my woman, MorningStar, who opened the door of spirit. You could say, some would say Pandora's box, but I wouldn't say that. And this right here is to trigger people, because I heard some people talk about me in Morningstar, and they were like, "Oh, that's not enlightenment. That's not this. That's not that." Well, that's a religious spirit. I mean, Jesus hung out with the drudges of society. He hung out with the bums. He hung out with the drunkards. He hung out with the druggies. He hung out with the people that were less presentable, that were less, you know, not less, but they didn't have much. They were impoverished. So, I mean, you can cook your meat a certain way. You can do things a certain way. It doesn't mean that God is all over everything, all over this laptop, all over this chair, the trees. There's God in all things, and there's a, a room in the house of God for everybody. And it doesn't matter what it looks like to certain people. It doesn't matter if you um, do certain things. I'm not saying do bad things, but I'm just saying, like, live your life to the most authentic way that you can. And it doesn't matter if someone doesn't like it, because we're trying to change who we are. We're trying to better ourselves. And the only way to do that is to fall on our swords thousands upon thousands of times and eat our words thousands upon thousands of times. Because every time we go live, we eat our words. We're eating our prophecy. I mean, and we scarf it down. I mean, I know that's a weird analogy, but we're living a prophecy. We're going to go through lessons. We got a lot of chapters, we got a lot of verses, but it's the beauty of seeing our screenplay, and it's seeing it on the screen and seeing our environment like a little pixel of a picture. It's like, when light appears on the screen, light only appears because we appear. And if we appear, then light appears. And appearances are just a projection of our consciousness. And if that is a projection of our consciousness, then we need to project the things in our spacious awareness that we want to see in our reality, but not changing conventional reality. But we need to project what we want, what we desire, not our evil desires, but our purified, unified desires. What does that look like? What is that? What is that? What does that look like to you? So, when we're emptying out, when we're clearing, when we're healing, when we're going through a crucible, we are healing the awakening of planet Earth. We're healing planet Earth. We're seeing it change. We're trying to adapt to the uncharted waters that we're seeing ourselves being pulled into. It's as if we were living in nature. And every time you awaken, every time you go through a next level, every time you upgrade yourself, you are essentially as if you were a hunter and a gatherer. You are just trying to adapt to the environment, the new environment that you've gotten yourself into. And it's hard. It's hard to adapt. It's hard to adapt to who you need to become. But that's what the spiritual awakening is. It's about adapting to who you really are. And sometimes the false narratives, the revolving door, the talking ourselves out, and to say even that I'm not ready, and I said more and more so that you can be of service to people one day. And we have to be honest with ourselves. And we got to be true with ourselves. We can't nilly-nally around. I mean, some of the best wisdom that I've ever gotten was from laying in my bed with Morningstar and just talking. literally just talking about things, trying to get to the bottom of things. You know, if we had to work something out, and it's not always easy. You know, people think that they should, you know, just make it to be enlightened just by sitting around and burning incense and thinking they should get to the keys of the castle, but it's not that easy. And I'm saying this from my own experience because they wouldn't let me go higher if I didn't have moments of healing, if I didn't have crucibles, if I didn't have people I needed to forgive and to move on and to um, understand myself completely. And as I'm saying this, my foot's asleep. So that's always great because in Morningstar, always ask me, like, why do you sit in that way? Because people sit in the yogi stance because if you sit like that, if you fall asleep, you won't fall over. That's why I sit like that. But we are just becoming more and more, and we just got to adapt to these new waters. And you just got to feel into nature's frequencies. Like we've been looking up um, the sloth, no, the opossum. It dies and then it comes back to life. Well, we die and we come back to life. We reincarnate basically when we awaken. It's a reconciliation with your higher self, with your true state of being, with your spacious awareness, with your true self, let's just say. Um, and I can't stress this enough because when you let more of the light in, people want your light, okay? It's the true thing. I mean, we got piranhas out there, and trust me, I mean, it's a real thing. But I haven't gone live in a minute, and I wanted to go live for you guys because I want you guys to understand is that we're not trying to change people. We're just giving people insight. We're just giving people what they need to know. We're just helping people tap into their brilliance. And we're helping people change the inner reality so that we can fit the infinite reality, so that we're not changing conventional reality and we're leaving it as it is, but we're changing our inner world so that our inner world is more purified, is more at a subtle, quiet, peaceful, graceful, spacious awareness. And if we have spacious awareness, we're just like the Milky Way. We're just kind of going cohesively. And the Milky Way needs all of its parts. It needs the galaxy. It needs the stars. So we need to project in our consciousness what we really, really want in our life. We need to project what we desire, what we crave, what we want for the betterment of all. Because this can't just be about yourself. You can't be service to self and expect that you become enlightened. It's just not going to work. You can't expect to have the keys of the castle bestowed to you if you're complacent, if you're selfish, if you're egotistical. And I'm saying this from my own experience. I'm not, and I know sometimes when I talk, it sounds like I'm preaching to people, but that doesn't work either. But what I'm saying is because I've went through this, we all go through this as light workers. And there's not, if you can't admit that you go through that, if you can't admit that you've tried your best to get the darkness out of you and just emptying yourself out more and more and more and more and get more sort of convicted in your stance. And conviction doesn't is not a negative thing. And when I say certain things, I'm saying it in a positive way, and it might not sound normal in the English language. But when we are star seeds in human form and we're traveling through this 3D and we feel like we're not supposed to be here, but we're here for a reason. When we're here for a reason is to help people embrace the star seed within. Because some people, we've always felt like outcasts in our life. We've always felt different. We've always felt like we just didn't belong. And some of you didn't belong in your 3D family. Some of you never belonged in high school. Some of you never belonged with your own children. Well, guess where you belong? You belong within your heart. You belong to White Wolf. White Wolf accepts you for who you are. And I'm not saying that to boost my own following or me and Morningstar's following. We're not trying to boost our following. We want to help people. And we want to have the needs and the means to help people. I mean, the things that we've manifested in the 2 years of our spiritual counterpart is just quite amazing. And sometimes people, when you go live, people just want to see your heart. They just want to see you. You don't even have to say anything. You don't have to do it like me. It doesn't have to look like me. You have to look like you. You have to be comfortable with you. You have to be in love with yourself because yourself is your best friend. Your higher self is your best friend. And sometimes your higher self is just waiting on you to love yourself and to forgive yourself for anything that you've done wrong or you've misunderstood or even the darkness that you did tap into. And some people don't want to hear that. Some people don't want to hear like, "Oh, I don't have darkness. I've cleared myself out. I've done all the things I needed to do. I did it. I did it." Well, have you? Sometimes I ask Morningstar, "Do I look okay? Am I spiritually good? Am I spiritually good?" Because my gifting hasn't fully kicked in. But the things that I can comprehend, the things that I understand in 2 years' time that I didn't understand 2 years ago is like so amazing. It's just so transcendent. It's such a fast track. And I'm sorry, I know some of you don't want to wait 20 years sitting under a bonsai tree to feel like you need to be enlightened. That you need to take 20 years to be enlightened. I'm I hope it doesn't take me 20 years, but if it does, that's okay. But it's called a fast track for a reason. So, I just want you guys to understand is that slow and steady truly wins the race, okay? I'm sorry my leg is just asleep. But slow and steady wins the race. It's not about rushing your journey. Because once you rush your journey, you're going to not clear things that you needed to clear. You're going to not learn the lessons that you needed to learn before you became the master, the alchemist, the master intuitive in human form, the star seed in human form, the oracle of love, light, and wisdom. And they won't take you higher if you don't learn those catalysts, if you don't look at your reflections, because everything is a reflection of you. And if you're projecting everything in your awareness, in your spacious awareness, if you're projecting everything in your consciousness, and if you see stuff that you don't necessarily like, and I'm really talking about me, if there's things in my life that I see that I don't really like, the only person that I can blame is me. But no, we're all changing. We're all growing fast. This is all going almost too fast sometimes. But it's the adventure. It's truly the adventure that's admirable, that's loving, that's at times hard, but it's the most beneficial journey out of any journey that I've taken in my life. It will be the most beneficial for you. It will be the most loving. It will be the most generous. It will be the most accelerating, exhilarating, and intelligent, and full of complexities that you would not even understand. I mean, sometimes I say stuff that I don't even understand while I'm live, man. I mean, it just is what it is. I mean, I say things that I speak into existence that I bet I have hundreds, and Morningstar as well, Thomas Sawyer, we have hundreds, thousands of people that watch us, and that we're probably having an impact on their lives. And that's what's important. It's not the gratification. It's not getting something out of it, but it's getting the satisfaction that you made someone's day, that you sparked a change within them, within their consciousness, within their mind, within their heart. And it made them tap into that. It made them tap into the divine spark that brought them here, that allowed them to change, that allowed them to not change who they are, but to tap in to who they are, who they really are, not the imposter self, because that's what we're really trying to get rid of. A lot of times we are just our own worst enemy. We're trying to get past ourselves. We're trying to literally get past ourselves, and we're fighting tooth and nail. And we just need to give the imposter self a Mike Tyson one rounder and send it on its way and send it back to source. And the best thing to be right now is to be positive. It's not being in denial when you're being positive. Even when everything in your situation is saying negative, everything in your situation is like, you should just quit. You're nothing. You're not great. You're not worthy. But you are worthy. You are worthy of all the fruits of life. You are worthy of everything that you are going to make out of yourself. You are worthy. You are not unworthy. But thinking that you're unworthy is, in a sense, arrogant, or having too much humility is giving your power away to a specific concept. And we can't give our power away, not our power away to a specific concept. Know that you have to clear things. Know that you have to do this. You have to do that. You have to learn this. You have to look at this catalyst. You have to look at your reflections, and move on, and accelerate, and grow. Because that's the only way. That's the only way that we are ever going to accumulate so much light within our source being. And when we are filled with spirit, we are filled with light, we are filled with joy, we are filled with love. And when we are filled with love, when we're acting from a place of love, and when we're acting from our heart, we truly get some of the best work done. We truly become the most immaculate version of ourselves. It's like the true alchemist. It's like the Minority Report. You know that movie, and it's like sometimes we get these downloads, and it's like this computer screen. It's like I was talking to Morningstar, and I was talking about Bentina Massara, and she said it was like the screen above him, and he gets all of these downloads, and and then me too, and Morningstar and Thomas, we all get these downloads. We all see the screen, and as we see the screen above us, it's like, okay, this topic, this thing, I'm gonna understand this complexity. I'm gonna understand this language. I'm gonna understand this thing of channeling, and it just boom, it just falls into place, and it comes from source, and it just comes out of you, and you just know what you need to know right when you need to know it, or the prophetic word you need to say to somebody when you need to say it, and it just boom, just falls out of your head, falls out of your consciousness, comes out of your mouth with your hand gestures, with the way that you're doing something, and it just flows. And if it's in flow, it's a go-go. But if it's not in flow, it's a big no-no. Okay? It's just a big no-no. But we are just so special. We are so important. We are so infinitely loved. And we just don't know it. Sometimes we just don't know how brilliant we are, and I've had Morningstar say that to me. And that's just what we need to tell ourselves. We just don't know how brilliant we are. We just don't know how infinitely abundant we are. We just don't know how infinitely loved we are. we just don't know. But we'll know when we need to know it. And this is going to be a long, drawn out live, guys. You know, and if you can't stay, if you can't rewatch it, just rewatch it. The energy is still the same. Share out to all the groups. Feel free to donate. Make an appointment with me and Morningstar. It will change your life. Our readings. Until the end of May, we're doing $50 still. So make an appointment. But we need to protect ourselves in this time. We need to nurture ourselves. We need to not be so hard on ourselves, because this isn't just a race that you're going to win in a day. This is a constant race. This is a constant growing period. And we just need to get through. We need to buck through. We need to just get nitty gritty and just take the tools in our spiritual tool belt and put them to the test. But I'm going to do some healing. So I want you to get into a calm space within your mind, within your consciousness, within your true state of being, within the truest form of your being. And I will say light language, share out to all the groups. Doing stupa mudra energy, it's what the Buddhists use. You all know that what this is. You all know what it's about. But receive this healing. Feel it within your heart. Feel it within your mind. Feel it within your innermost being. And just breathe and receive and empty out everything that does not serve. Empty out yourself completely. Know who you are. Feel this within your mind. And just feel it. Breathe it. See it. Dream it. Dream big. Don't accept nothing less than the human version of Source in its true form, in its true essence, in everything that you want to see manifest. Project things in your consciousness into your awareness that you want to see. See as the Creator wants to see. Be infinite. Become the infinite reality. Change your inner reality to fit the conventional reality. And stop playing within the false narratives of the imposter self. It hasn't done nothing for you so far. It's not going to do anything for you now. And you just need to breathe and receive the frequencies of Source. And a violet ray of energy is coming and flooding in. The weather is changing within us right now. Sataya oya oshipema kaya atepema aya otekema goya oshipema aya otekema kaya sipi aya otedena daya oshipema aya otekena goya otetema daya shipama aya otepema baya otetena gaya. It's not about the answer, dear beloved, but it's all about the question. This thing is a paradox. And paradoxical questions are always allowed if they present the right argument, but it's not always about the argument, but it's not even about the answer, but it's always about the question that provokes the alignment of your true innermost being. The weather is changing as we speak. Ah. You will feel the frequencies of the trees. You will feel the frequency of the cat's purr because there are cats around us. But we are the sacred treasure, dear beloveds. We are the children of the Most High God, and we have nothing to fear. We have nothing to worry about. Because we are source in human form, we are the oracle of love, light, and wisdom. And with all the knowledge from the galaxies, from the multiverses, from our innermost being, the aqua river flow of God's source energy, the violet ray of energy, is all that we need to conquer, to become the alchemist within. I appreciate the time that we spent here together today in the collaboration of the healing of planet Earth. But keep seeking, keep emptying out, keep healing, keep loving, keep wanting to be of service to others, and live for yourself so that you can live for others. And just change your inner reality so that you can become the infinite reality, so that it can fit conventional reality. And you can leave things as it is and just be the source of all things and be all that there is. But take a deep breath. Take a couple more, and you will slowly get back to your body. But when I snap my fingers, you will become the Oracle of Love, Light, and Wisdom, and you will manifest and create other oracles of love, light, and wisdom, and you will be a divine co-creator of the ascension of planet Earth. And just know that you are a part of spiritual enlightenment. And you're not here to change people, but you're here to spark the awakening within others so that they can live their best and fullest lives now. It's powerful, ladies and gentlemen. Been on here for an hour almost. But no, guys, I want to thank you for staying with my message. I want to thank you for watching. I want to thank you for sharing out. And feel free to donate. Feel free to make an appointment with me in Morningstar or us separate, doesn't matter. But I want you guys to really just focus in on what you really want and what you really want to see manifest and what you need to project in your conscious and your awareness and your healing journey so that you can heal planet Earth one day, because that's what it's coming to. It's coming for us to heal the collective. And when we are clearing ourselves, we are clearing the decks for the collective. And when we're clearing for the collective, we are just trying to make the world a better place and just trying to spark change within people. And not to change who they are, but just to help them tap into who they really are. That's really all it is about. Because when you tap into who you really are, you get things done better. Things happen better. Your whole paradigm of your life will change in an instant. And then you will be able to shift the paradigm of your reality and shift the paradigm of other people's lives and move and heal and level up in increments so that they can do it in increments as well. But no, I want to thank you all for being a part of this broadcast. And please share out to all the groups, like the I Am Movement. If you coming into the feed where you watch it, share it out, make an appointment with me or Morningstar. We're going to be on BitChute, we'll be on Instagram. I_M_movement, all lowercase. And like the I Am Movement, go to BitChute. It's I Am Movement at MorningStar. And see us on TikTok and just bask in the glory of your higher self and God's source energy. And finally tap into the knowledge of what is possible. Thank you. You all have a blessed evening.